Landlords and tenants in Florida are frustrated over the rental assistance program requirements. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's going over the frustrations that some landlords and tenants are having with the rental assistance program. Now, this article is coming out of the state of Florida, but believe me, this is replicated throughout the entire country, okay? The rental assistance program has been a complete disaster, and it's proven just how little of the money has been sent to the landlords who haven't been paid rent since the beginning of the eviction moratorium. But before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button. Maybe leave a comment down below and let me know what you want to see on this channel. I'm going to work to keep bringing you articles about the eviction moratorium, rental assistance program, rent control, anything that's of interest to landlords. So, this article, it comes from clickorlando.com, and it says, Orange County landlords, tenants frustrated over emergency rental assistance requirements. Local leaders suggest changes to federal government. And I've already made several videos about all the bureaucracy and everything that's going on with these rental assistance programs, but I want to keep bringing it up. I want to keep it on top of everyone's minds because it isn't over yet. All this eviction moratorium stuff, it isn't over. Just the day that it ended didn't mean that all the problems just instantly disappeared. No, we're still going through this mess right now. Landlords are still trying to get compensated. Some landlords still can't even evict tenants because the local and state eviction moratoriums are in place. But I'm going to keep going over this stuff until we can finally say for everyone, hey, we're back to normal. So let's get into it. As emergency rental assistance applications are processed, some Central Florida landlords claim the process is too complicated for some renters who need the funds the most. I have no help. I have adult children, said one tenant, who did not want to use her name because she needed to find a new place to live. The mother of two said she arrived home after securing a post-pandemic job to a notice on her door. It told her she was being evicted and she had to be out of her apartment in 24 hours. We're just out here trying to survive, she said. I can't get help from a shelter. They're full. I'm trying to call Red Cross, but I can't even get through to get help. So, yeah, this is a pretty typical situation here where we have a tenant here, wasn't paying rent or whatever. And guess what? Eviction moratorium's over. So you've been served your eviction notice and you've got to go. You haven't been paying rent. It is unfortunate, but it is not the landlord's responsibility to be a homeless shelter. It is not the landlord's responsibility to be a low-income housing provider, okay? If you are unable to pay your rent, then you need to move on and either find a place where you can pay the rent or you need to, find some other way to make income so that you can pay the landlord the money that you owe them. But yeah, pretty common situation right there. I lost a lot of money, said Fabian Douglas, the woman's landlord. He said her condo was one of 3 of his properties that he had deputies serve eviction papers on in one day. He said stimulus money for landlords has been slow in coming, if at all. We're suffering because we own condos. We have to pay our dues every month, he said. They don't care what the situation is. If your tenant pays or not, we still got to pay, or they take us to court. They take the property, and that's not fair to us. And that's something I really hadn't thought of before, okay? So landlords who own condo units or landlords who are in homeowners associations and they still have to make these association payments, okay? So I've looked at a lot of properties before, especially condos, and some of them can have very, very high association dues because, their association, I don't know why, but they charge a lot. So we're talking about, in some cases, there's condos that charge $500, $600, even $1,000 a month just for the condo association dues. Now, you add that on top of the other bills that the landlord also has to cover, the mortgage, the insurance, the taxes, possibly the utilities, the maintenance, and guess what? If you don't pay your landlord, the landlord is having to pay all of that stuff out of pocket. So yeah, the landlord's going to do whatever they can do to make sure that they can keep their property. And in the case of the condo association, if you don't pay the condo association dues, they will take the property from you. I mean, they're as bad as the government in terms of taking properties away from people. So, we're in a bad situation. They put a lot of landlords in a very bad situation, and this landlord had to serve these eviction papers and has to get a paying tenant in there. This idea that your landlord is rich, living in the Bahamas, or living in, the French Riviera is not accurate. It's absolutely not accurate, Matt Zaccarino said. Zaccarino owns properties in the same complex. He said 5 of his tenants have applied for Orange County's Emergency Rental Assistance Program, but 7 months later, they are still waiting for approval. They're asking a lot of people for a lot of documents on demand, and if you don't have them, they just deny your application, and then you have to reapply, he said. It's not so much frustration for me, it's frustration for my tenants, and it's frustration for all the other landlords that I know that are struggling even more than me. Yeah. And he's absolutely right, okay? They put all these documentation requirements on the tenant. I think what they're trying to do is prove that, one, the tenant actually lost income during the COVID-19 pandemic, okay? So they lost income due to that. So maybe their employer laid them off, furloughed them, or whatever, right? And so they actually do qualify for this rental assistance. Second thing is, if they lost some of their income but not all of it, then maybe they could qualify as well. But or if they got sick actually with COVID and they missed a whole bunch of work because of it, then they might qualify for rental assistance as well. But then again, they're also saying, well, if you make more than 80% of the area's median income, then you don't qualify for this. So, I mean, there's a lot of different stipulations that they put on it, but the documentation that's required from the tenants, it's burdensome, okay? And the documentation they require from landlords is burdensome as well. It just makes, especially if you have multiple tenants who are trying to apply for this, it makes it very, very difficult. Orange County's income-based emergency rental assistance program launched in March. So far, county leaders said they have received 9,430 applications, some of which are duplicates. As of Monday, leaders said 1,950 applications had been approved to get their share of $33.4 million in federal rental assistance funding. According to county leaders, $10.8 million has been dispersed so far, with approximately 1 year left to disperse the remaining funds. So yeah, let's dive into those numbers here. So they say that they've received 9,430 applications, and some of the applications are actually duplicates. So what the problem is that if you don't get your rental assistance payment, then they're going to have to apply again. Or if it's been several months since they initially applied, well, they actually owe more money now. So yeah, they're going to apply again. So that's the problem when they just drag things out. The other thing is, if you get something wrong on the application, they just deny it and then throw it out instead of, giving you a call and giving you an opportunity to correct it. Well, no wonder, if you do that, of course, you're going to have a lot of issues with people not getting the rental assistance money that they applied for, and people having to apply again and again and again. So yeah, I mean, that's completely ridiculous. So yeah, it says that 10.8 million of the 33.4 million has actually been distributed. So that's only 33% approximately. Okay. So they've only distributed 1/3 of the money that they've been allocated. And that is pretty pitiful. And it's pretty typical too throughout the entire country, as most places are just having a horribly hard time trying to distribute this money to the landlords who are owed it. So yeah, this is textbook example of why I don't like these rental assistance programs. I do want the money to get to these landlords though, because they're owed it, okay? The government is the one who created all of the shutdowns. They're the ones who, demanded that all the businesses shut down, making it so that the tenants couldn't pay. On top of that, they told the landlords that, hey, guess what? You can't evict these tenants. So they created this mess with all of their policies. So now it's just, they need to get this rental assistance program to these landlords as soon as possible. So yeah, good story here. But on another topic here, I've mentioned in other videos, and I'm a pretty athletic person. I love to run marathons, and I just completed the Des Moines Marathon today. And I just wanted to show off my little finisher's plaque here for completing the Des Moines Marathon. And I'm very proud of it. And good luck to all the landlords. Just know that we're still here supporting you. I'm going to continue to bring you these videos, and just hang in there for now.